Here's a close-up look at the La Vie en Rosa Afghan, which was recently added to the 2022 Afghan Club. This one is made up of squares, which are joined together with whip stitch and a yarn needle. The rose squares have a nice raised flower. They have eyelets and also knit-look ribbing to give the impression of leaves. There's also plain squares and triangles at the edges, and then 4 corner pieces. And I finished this one off with the knit-look ribbed edging that I like to use. I used a DK weight yarn, an H hook, and you can see how beautiful the drape is. It's just a very lovely, soft, finished piece. I made mine just a baby blanket size, 32 inches by 36 inches, but you can use yarn and hook of choice and make this to any dimensions that you would like. I just love how this one turned out. This is one of my favorite colors, and it's quite a nice vintage looking pattern. And it's quite fun to work as well. Lots of variety of stitches and a little bit of sewing after the fact, which I enjoy. And hopefully you will as well. Hi, this is Lisa with Holland Designs Crochet. I've been asked to create a partial demo video for the La Vie en Rosa Afghan, which I released last year as part of my 2022 Afghan Club. So La Vie en Rosa is a French phrase meaning life in pink, or living life with rose-colored glasses, which is being cheerful and positive. And I like that way of living, so I'll just show you how we begin this pattern. So round 1 of the rose square, which is what I'm going to demonstrate for you today, begins with a magic ring. And you can find videos online about how to make a magic ring, but I'll just quickly show you how I do mine. Just basically make a ring like that. Put my hook inside the loop, grab my yarn, and pull it up. So that's my magic ring. And then I begin round 1 with a chain 1, and I work 8 single crochets into that ring. So this is 8 single crochets, and then I simply close the ring by pulling that end that tightens it up, and I'm ready to start after I join with a slip stitch. So basically I have you in the pattern, you join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and then you have your 8 single crochets for round 1. And I'm using an H hook and a DK weight yarn. This is the same yarn that I used for the sample. So I had some laying around. I loved this blanket. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't have the sample anymore. I think I sold it. But it was so much fun to make. Really pretty. So let's see. Round 2, we begin with a chain 3. A double crochet in the next single crochet. A chain 1. And then we have repetition that begins. The repetition is written in parentheses. And it is a double crochet in the next single crochet and chain 1 around. So we're doing, basically what it's going to create is double crochets and chain 1 spaces in between. And when we finish this round, we'll have a total of 8 double crochets and 8 chain 1 spaces. And our starting chain 3 for this round, it counted as a double crochet and a chain 1. So that's how the starting chain 2 of that chain 3 counts as a double crochet stitch. So I will just finish this round and then come back and show you how we continue. Okay, this is my completed rounds 1 and 2. I got my 8 double crochets and my 8 chain 1 spaces. So I just finished that round 2 with a slip stitch in the second chain of the beginning chain 3. And for round 3, we begin with a chain 2, and then we work 5 double crochets in the same space. So basically in the top of each double crochet on this round, we'll be working a total of 6 double crochets. So for my starting 1, I had the chain 2. I've got 3 double crochets, and I need to work 2 more. So I've got a chain 2 and 5 double crochets there. That creates a 6 double crochet type of a shell.
And then it says between these, we're working a chain 2. So we're having a chain 2 space, and then we're working 6 double crochets in the next double crochet. So we're actually not working into any of the chain 1 spaces of the previous round, just working into the top of the double crochet stitches and working a total of 6 double crochets in each of those spaces, followed by a chain 2 in between. And this is going to create a bit of a ruffled round. So I will finish this round and then come back and show you how we begin and work round 4. Okay, this is my completed round 3. I have 8 6 double crochet groups and 8 chain 2 spaces in between. At the end of round 3, it says do not join after you've worked your last chain 2. So we have not joined. As we begin round 4, we're going to be working some slip stitches and some chain 3 spaces on this round. So it's pretty simple. But what we're going to do is we're going to work a slip stitch in a special way to create 8 puff petals. That's what I define them as, puff petals. And so you work the first one by inserting into the top of the beginning chain 2, and then insert your hook from back to front, from the back of your work to the front of your work through the last double crochet of that group, yarn over, pull straight through, and pull through the loop on your hook, just like you would with a regular slip stitch. And then in between, we work a chain 3. And just repeat that all the way around. Insert your hook in the top of the first double crochet of the next 6 double crochet group from back to front through the last stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, and pull through the loop on your hook to complete that puff petal. So I'll just do it one more time. Chain 3 in between. Insert your hook in the first stitch from front to back as usual, and then back to front through the last stitch, yarn over, pull through both of those stitches, and through the loop on your hook. And you can see how that's creating a really pretty textured puff stitch. And so I'll just complete this round and I'll come back and show you how we continue from here. Okay, I've just gotten to the very end of round 4, and it just says to join with a slip stitch in the first slip stitch. So you're just joining where you started the beginning of that round. You can see how we've got the 8 puff petals, and in between it looks like you can see the 2 chain loops that we'd had in between. You can see that. Okay, so now at round 5, just checking my pattern here. Slip stitch in the next chain 3 space. So we're working just in this top chain 3 space from the previous round. So we're moving our hook and slip stitching there. Then we work a chain 2, and then a 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets all in the same space. This is creating the first corner as we're starting to form a square. So that's our first corner. And then in the very next chain 3 loop, we're working 3 double crochets. So this is starting to take on a granny square shape here. So we have our first corner, we have 3 double crochets in the next chain 3 space. Then we're going to work another corner here, which is the corner shell, which is the 3 double crochets plus a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets to complete that shell. And so we just continue in that same manner all the way around the square, and at the end we'll join with a slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain 2. And at the end we'll have 4 corners completed and we'll have a square formed. So let me complete this round and then I'll show you how we continue to shape this lovely textured square for this pattern. All right, this is the end of round 5. And how pretty is this looking? Now as we continue, we need to move our hook from where we've joined at the end of round 5, simply working a slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets and also into the chain 2 corner. So you can see now we're positioned at the corner, so we're ready to begin working in rows. So this pattern has you initially create this textured square, and then you work along two sides back and forth in rows to continue to enlarge this square. So we have a special stitch that's defined in the pattern. There's also a demo link in the pattern to another video showing you how to work a knit look rib stitch, but I'm also going to demonstrate it for you here as I'm showing this to you. So row 1, so we're working in rows now. It says to work a chain 1 and half double crochet in the same space, so that corner there, and then you're working a half double crochet in the next 9 double crochets. So that's my 9. And then we are at the corner again. In the corner, we're working half double crochet, chain 2, and half double crochet for that corner. And then we're going to work 9 half double crochets across here on this side as well, working 1 per each of the double crochets. And then when we get to the next chain 2 corner at the end, we're just going to work a half double crochet in that corner as well. And so our total stitch count for this row will be 22 half double crochets plus the 1 chain 2 corner that we worked. So I've just completed that, so I should have 22 half double crochets plus the chain 2 corner. Okay, so now we're on to row 2 of this row that's going along 2 sides. And so we're going to work a chain 1 turn, and now we're going to work a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So the first 3 half double crochets, we're working a single crochet in those. And now we're working a knit look rib stitch in the next 8 stitches. And the knit look rib stitch is insert your hook at the base of the last stitch that you worked, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, and then pull straight through those loops. And you just repeat that process. Insert at the base of the previous stitch, pull up a loop, insert in the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all loops on your hook. So I just repeat that across all the way. And this is creating a ribbing on the opposite side of your work, which will be a very pretty knit look texture. So we work this all the way across. And then when we get to the final corner here, it says to do a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet in the corner, chain 2. So let me just complete, I think I had 1 more of those to do. And I wasn't counting, but otherwise you would actually be counting it, that you had a total of 8 knit look rib stitches. And then work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet for that corner. And then the knit look rib stitch is going to begin in the same manner as before. Insert your hook in that corner at the base of that previous stitch, insert your hook in the next stitch, and just work the knit look rib stitch across. So that's my 8th one, and then I should have 3 more, and I'm working 3 single crochets to end that row. So these rows, it's just important to keep track of your stitch count and count what you're doing to make sure that everything is accurate. So I'll just do a chain 1 turn at the end of row 2. You can see that knit look ribbing, that texture along those 2 sides, and it only goes so far. That's part of the pattern. You're basically creating a flower, and you're creating ribbed petals, and so that's why the ribbing does not extend all the way to the edge at this point. That's why we just had the single crochets there, because the ribbing is shorter. As we do another row later, the ribbing will be a bit longer. So this is how the pattern is developing so far. So I'll come back and show you how we continue from here then. Okay, my stitch count at the end of row 2, it says I should have 24 stitches and 1 chain 2 for the corner. So now I'll begin row 3, and it says to work a half double crochet in back loops only of next 3 single crochets. So the half double crochet and back loop only in the next 3 stitches there. And then we are working a bit of an eyelet row. So we're doing a chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet in the back loop only of the next stitch. And we're doing that repetition 4 times. Okay, and then we do a chain 1, and we work a half double crochet, chain 2, and a half double crochet at the corner. Okay, and then we are doing chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet in the back loop only of the next stitch. Again, repeating this eyelet row or eyelet section here. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet in the next. Repeat that across. It's a total of 4 times we're doing this. And then we end with a chain 1 for that repetition. Skip 1 stitch, and then we're working a half double crochet in the back loop only of the last 3. So each time we work across these rows, they're the identical stitches. They're basically mirroring each other. So this one begins with the half double crochets, and then you do the spacing there, and then the corner, and then you do the spacing and end with the half double crochets here. So it's just a mirrored effect, but the exact same stitching. And so that's the end of row 3, and our stitch count should be 16 half double crochets, 10 chain 1 spaces, and the 1 chain 2 space. So along each side we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain 1s, and the same on this side for a total of 10. So you can double check your stitch counts, and it should be all accurate there. So let me just do my next chain 1 turn here and begin row 4. Row 4 is single crochet in each stitch and chain space across to the corner, and then work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the corner. And our stitch count at the end of row 4 should be 28 single crochets and the 1 chain 2 space for the corner. So I'll just finish this row 4 and then come back and show you row 5. Okay, I've completed row 4, and now I'm working on row 5. Row 5 is just simply half double crochets across both sides, and then working a half double crochet and chain 2 for the corner, and then also half double crochet back into that same corner there. So, and then just completing this side here with half double crochet all the way across as well. So at the end of row 5, we'll have a stitch count of 30 half double crochets and the 1 chain 2 space. And this is setting us up for the knit look ribbing, which will be working again on row 6 as we complete another textured leaf type effect here. So we had the first leaf that we did, basically the ribbing that looked like some leaves, and we're going to do another one of those that are longer this time. So at the end of row 5, I just do a chain 1 and turn. So you can see our square is getting larger. Okay, so row 6, we do a single crochet in the first stitch, and then we begin with our knit look rib stitch right away, and we work 14 knit look rib stitches all the way across to the corner. And then in the corner we just work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then knit look rib stitch along the second side as well of the square. And so at the end of row 6 we'll have a stitch count of 32 stitches and 1 chain 2 space. So let me just finish row 6 and then I'll come back and show you row 7 just finished here, get to the corner with our knit look rib, and then the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet for the corner. And again, to begin the next knit look rib, we always insert at the base of the previous stitch, and in this case it's actually in the corner as well. So just continue this one and come back and show you row 7. Okay, I've completed row 6 and now I'm on to row 7. I'm working in back loops only. I'm working half double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and half double crochet in the next. So I'm basically creating that same eyelet effect that I did on the previous row here. And I'm working this all the way across both sides. And then in the corner, chain 2, I'm going to be working my half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet in the same space here, same as I did before. So I'm just working that corner stitch and then repeating with my chain 1, skip 1 stitch, back loop only, half double crochet across. So I'm just doing the repetition again to create the eyelet along the second side here. So you can see how that's looking. And at the end of row 7, when I complete this, my stitch count will be 18 half double crochets, 16 chain 1 spaces, and the 1 chain 2 corner. So we're getting close to the end of the row, end of the square. So I'll just finish this row, come back and show you row 8. I've just finished row 8 of the square, and that was simply done using single crochet. And so we had a single crochet per each of the stitches of row 7 and also a single crochet in each of the chain spaces. And at the corner, we worked 3 single crochets. So total stitch count at the end of row 8 is 37 single crochets. And then we fasten off, leaving a longer length of yarn for sewing. And so then you'll just join the squares together with whip stitch using a yarn needle. And so this is the wrong side of the square. And then I'll just flip it over and show you the finished front side of the square, the right side. You can see we have the beautiful flower with the leaves, and they're sewn together as the sample photos show, the completed Afghan in a perpendicular way with the flowers facing upward. And it's really a beautiful and fun design to work. So hopefully you'll enjoy this pattern. It was in the 2022 Afghan Club. It's also available separately in my Ravelry shop. I'll include links to the pattern, also the Afghan Club, and also a link to the Crafty Yarn Council website, which is a site that gives you some help if you're learning to read patterns, learning to read standard abbreviations and terms. And it's just a wonderful resource to give you the guidance you might need if you're learning to do something more than just follow videos. If you're learning to read patterns and be able to combine both perhaps the reading skills with the visual aid, it's a wonderful way to expand your skills. So I'll include all those links in the description box, and hopefully you'll enjoy this lovely pattern.